Alright, guys, I wanted to just demonstrate the cutting difference between the Deba HMKarambit, right? Where it's primarily sharpened here on this side, and also takes the height and the ergonomics of a Deba knife, and it's sharpened on the inside here. It's a convex, a very, very, very steep convex. On some later models I might have an Ura, but I need a larger contact wheel before doing that, and most people I know who own Debas, they anyway end up just sharpening a micro bevel on the edge anyway. So this is the single bevel one, and then we got the double bevel one, and this one's been over the sharpening stones. I got a big old sharpening stone, and so it's got a hand finished edge. This one is actually mostly a machine edge with a final touch up on 8,000 grit stones to create like a micro bevel. I like micro bevels a lot. So let's get to it. I'm thinking which one would be better to show first for chopping, but I think we'll go with the regular one, because this is what people are used to. It's just an old plank. See, it's pretty decent chopper. But because it's a convex grind, right? It doesn't dig ultra deep, but it chops super nicely, right? And I think also the shape of the karambit allows you to get a very decent cut, and it allows you to kind of operate sort of at different heights and at different places quite accurately. And you see how I'm holding the blade? I'm holding it like this. So it's, you know, yeah, it might look tactical, but that's not, you know, I'm taking advantage of ideas and I'm putting them to use. And in this configuration, this is a very convenient and nice high utility skeletonized karambit blade. I don't need a handle on this blade because I don't need any levels of comfort when I'm chopping like this, because I'm not really holding onto the handle anyway. So because it's got such good weight and such good ergonomics, you see I can very easily carve like a carpenter. So it's very nice. Let's give the single bevel one a shot here. So I really like that one. This one, on chopping, it chops completely differently. As you can see, because of the convex grind, we're getting sort of like scoop patterns, right? We're getting scoop patterns, so you need to control the angle of approach much more with the convex grind. But when it comes to the single bevel, man, this thing is just, it just cuts so differently. See, it cuts straight into the wood. You get very straight, very smooth cuts. And because it's a single bevel, it just bites immediately where you want it to, regardless of how thick the walls outside of it are. So, you know, when it comes to, let's just say, carpentry, you know, I would call this like a carpenter's edge. But I think a carpenter would actually have the Ura instead of a single bevel on this side. They would probably want it to be completely flat. This makes it so that you can actually do this and have all that extra added edge retention. So there is, you know, even though it's called Deba, HMK Deba, and you can use it like a Deba knife for filleting your fish. You can use it in the kitchen and all that. It doesn't have the Ura. I think if it had a Ura and it would be completely flat on this side, it would be just a little too fragile for abuse like this, right? So you're still getting the best of both worlds. Now I'm holding it slightly differently. Oops. You see, can you hear that? I don't know if you can hear that, but it just sounds right. So it's a pretty amazing chopper, and you know, that makes this super awesome and high utility to use as a camp knife. I mean, look, if you're gonna go salmon hunting, salmon fishing, bear fishing, salmon fishing up somewhere in Lapland, and you need something that will process your, you know, your campfire, make some lean-tos, make some quick shelters here and there, either to protect you from the sun or maybe some rain. You know, you're out there pretty far away. It doesn't take long to, you know, strap up some tarpaulin or something on some branches or whatever and get sort of a carpenter's vibe. I mean, look, dude, like, I don't have a baton here, but you know, this is a chisel grind, so you can actually use it like a chisel if you want to, you know. And then you know, I mean, it's pretty rough how I'm doing it here, but this is got all that carpenter utility from chisels and carpenter axes, so it adds a lot. And you can fillet your fish because it's a Deba, right? So you can do all that fish work with it if you have to. And then another benefit of the single bevel is that when it comes to sharpening, you're only really focusing on one side. So you just sharpen this side until you get a burr. Now you should be careful with burr formations because burrs do destabilize the steel behind it. It does lower edge retention to a certain degree. It can add sort of stress to the edge, so you want to be careful with how much burrs you create. But you sharpen it all the way over, and then just touch up this side. Just touch it up. You know, nothing serious. And very, very sharp and very accurate work. And when it comes to this kind of stuff, that's when you really appreciate the single bevel. And then of course when you're cutting things, right, the edges on the inside, so it feels kind of natural. There's something kind of nice about that. Going back to the other one, for some reason See, so this cuts very, very sharp, deep, but inaccurate. So it's kind of funny, but I feel like I need both. Either way, this is, as you can see, it cuts much deeper because of that hand-finished edge, but and the convex grind. So it's very aggressive cutter, this one. Very, very aggressive cutter. But this one just cuts those straight. It just cuts such straight lines, right? So it's very, very nice. And you see, I got my hand over the cutting board here. So it still has like that kitchen knife philosophy, even when you're chopping over a surface, you see. So and I think for a knife that's less than 25 centimeters long, you know, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome, you know? It's just such a different It's just such a different cutting experience between the two. That you have to appreciate them both. But I would say that the other one is much more aggressive in depth. This one is just much cleaner and much finer, much more accurate. So if you're artistic, you know, you want to make something fancy, then yeah. It just cuts so differently, the two. It just cuts so differently. And there they are. I think you can make up your mind about which one you like more than the other. I like them both a lot. I have a hard time deciding, but I carry this one primarily. I just made this one the other day to test. So you tell me what you think.